know what it is. True and living. I'm not your homie, I'm the one and only macaroni. Miss Atkins.
Bopping through the streets with the leak, Timberland cleats. Play the field where we shoot for the stars, ain't hard to reach. Peep the repertoire, skeet off the Thule, dump in the reservoir. Take a swig of Pinot Noir, hop in my foreign car. Bon voyage, I-95, passing the city streets from where we creep and backseat sleep. Watching quantum leap and play for keeps. Rules of the game, no time for referee. Don't step to me, I slap the clipboard. Ain't no coaching me, cost me plenty, but fortunately, I came at even, far from thieving. Credit card scam, shames, and all misdeeding, not misleading. Team was deceiving, or the non-believers. Streets ain't where you make achievements, invest in what you most believe in. I left some jewels on my nightstand, and you can keep it. 22s under my bed with covers to sleep with. It's no secret, I'm teaching, niggas only leeching. The streets prey on the weakling seeking, that's how they eating. I'm front seat at the beacon, reeking, I'm probably chiefing. Got a shorty fine, she half black and Puerto Rican. I'm reaching, not for my gun, but for my gap, bitch. I need a black Benz and a chick like SS Atkins. Let's get it cracking. Life is good, I'm so fortunate. Watch out for orphan kids with cold hearts like an abortionist. The road we often miss with twists and turns like contortionists. The block is scorching, kid. You holding heat, you an arsonist. The streets is all a myth. I got some pith that we all can twist. Blow the mist, my hustle content. Shit, hand over fist. We take the risk, blowing the dice. Put in all your chips. Take my advice. We living right. We can all get rich.
Slow down, son, you killing them. Slow down, son, you killing them.
He's a guy I met 2 weeks ago at the Justice Ball.
Is he rich, handsome, rich? And remember, 2 out of 3 isn't bad.
Yes.
He's sensitive, funny, and he has great taste. Look at these cute choo-choo.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Check-in Report. Welcome to the Check-in Report, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get myself on the screen. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Check-in Report. We're in the building. What's going on, y'all? We are gathered here today to talk about Mr. Jim Jones. We're here to entertain the nonsense, the BS. Jim Jones versus Nas. I don't know how this ingrate, how this degenerate, trolled his way into a conversation with one of rap's brightest stars, one of rap's greatest rappers who have ever touched a mic, greatest poets. We're talking none other than Mr. Nasir Jones. Nasir Jones, one of the greatest that's ever touched a mic. How did Jim Jones, the hip hop, he's the equivalent of the gum on the sole of the shoe when it comes to hip hop. He's the equivalent of the dog poop. And not the fresh dog poop. He's like the old shriveled up dog poop, stale, moldy. This man has trolled his way into a conversation with him and Nas, a man who has multi-platinum albums, a man that has critically acclaimed albums, not just platinum albums, because some people have successful albums. A lot of rappers have successful albums. This is a man with critically acclaimed albums. Hot 100 hits, great songs, incredible body of work. When you're talking about Nas, Jim Jones has trolled his way into a conversation with Nas. Baby says, "Are you real?" Listen, even I think this is a ridiculous argument. If you don't know, some kid online, he some 20 and let's be clear here. We're gonna get into a lot of this, and we're even gonna play some music. I think we're gonna play some music tonight. We're gonna compare. But a young kid started this conversation. Let me see if I can find the clip. Jim Jones, Nas clip. Let me see if I can find the original clip of the young man who said that, you know, Jim Jones he's more better than Nas and all this nonsense. Let me see if I can find that original clip. We're gonna get to what Jim Jones had to say, but let me see if I can find that clip of that young man. Let me just see if I can find it. Let me see if we can find this clip. I don't know the name of that young man. Jim Jones, Nas, Young, YN. YN was talking about Jim Jones and Nas. Let me see if I can find that clip. I should have pulled it up already. Is this it right here? No, that's not it. Jim Jones, Nas, YN. It was a young dude, and he was saying how he's better than Nas and all this nonsense. It's just ridiculous. Let me just see if I can find this young man. Let me go to YouTube. Maybe YouTube has it. Hold on. I should have had it pulled up already. We're gonna talk about this. You know, Jim Jones. He used to be Cameron's hype man. Hold on, Jim Jones, Nas. Where is this clip with this young kid yapping about Jim Jones and Nas? Where is this kid? And I hate to even play this kid's video because I mean, young people don't have really a lot of historicity when they talk about hip hop. You know, they're only going off of their Rolodex of the last 10 years of their lives. They don't know what it's like. They don't know what it's like. They don't know what hip hop was like in '94. They don't know what it's like to be outside in 2001 and Stillmatic is one of the biggest albums. They don't know what it's like. They don't know what it's like for the highlights of Nas' career. So can they really give you a historicity of Nas' career? I mean, Nas's highest heights, Jim Jones has never been able to even get to. But hold on, let me see if I can find this video. Jim Jones, Nas, clip. Where is this clip at? Jim Jones, Nas. We don't even know who this young man. I don't even know who this young man is. I really don't. I'm trying to find this young man's clip of this young dude. I don't see his thing. I don't see his clip. Jim Jones, Nas, young. Let me see. Young generation. Let me see if I can find. If I can't find the clip, I can't find the clip. Okay, I think this is it right here. I think we found it. All right.
You saying Jim Jones?
Here we go. This is the clip right here where they said the young man was saying that Jim Jones is better than Nas and all this other jazz. Let's play this clip. Let's play this clip. Let's get into it.
Jones has more hits than Nas.
Jim Jones has more hits than Nas. Absolutely ridiculous. Jim Jones, he only has one hit. If we're gonna be honest, he has one hit. One hit. We Fly High. Pop Champagne. You know whose record that was? You know whose record that was? That was DJ Webstar's. That we set the trends. That's really Amigos' record. So he only really has one hit, and even the one hit that we could attribute to Jim Jones, the one hit that we could look at and say, oh, Jim Jones has one hit. It's alleged that Max B and Stack Bundles wrote it. So the one hit that we could at least give you, the one hit that people are attributing to you, they're saying that people wrote it. No, we're not talking about Tyler the Creator. This is Nas and Jim Jones. If you're not here for Nas and Jim Jones, get up out of here. BX Mel says Nas all day. Jim is corny. Jim is corny. We're gonna get to that, but let's play this young man and what his thoughts was. Let's get into this young man, what he thought in terms of the whole discussion. This is where it started from, really, of Nas and Jim Jones and who's better.
I'm from New Jersey.
He's from New Jersey.
Grew up on balling.
We grew up on balling. That's one hit, my man. That's one hit. He says, Jim Jones, I'm from New Jersey. We grew up on balling. Young man, that's one hit. But where's the body of work? This is the problem when we allow young people to talk about hip hop. This is the problem. They have no historicity. They don't have any. They don't know their lips from their asses. But they're having these discussions on hip hop. Jim Jones does not deserve to be in a discussion with Nas. It's ridiculous. And you're saying that we grew up on ballin'. Ballin' is one song. What are the classic albums from Jim Jones? Give me a classic album from Jim Jones. Classic mixtape. Give me something other than ballin'. I need something other than ballin'. Does he have an album that we can compare to Illmatic? Does he have an album we can compare to It Was Written, Stillmatic, Godson? Let's take a Nas's worst album and compare it to Jim Jones's best body of work. Does it compare? Jim Jones is the poop on the bottom of the shoe when it comes to hip hop. Nas is like the gold crown, the emblem, the crown jewel on the top of the head when it comes to hip hop. Jim Jones is the poop, the dog poop that you stepped in. That's what Jim Jones is to hip hop. And make no mistake, let's really go further into this. And make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Remember, there was a trend happening in hip hop. Maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, two or 3 years ago, there was a trend happening where everybody was posting their top 50 list. Does anybody remember that? We're going to get back into this clip, but does anybody remember when it was going around? Salute to Numb Lock. He says, Jim Jones has always been a rap troll. Nothing more, nothing less. That's a fact. We all remember when he was on the Kofi, the Kofi Capers, and he had his Kofi list. How many of those people that was on those Kofi lists did Jim Jones slap? His whole rap style has been rap cap. His whole demeanor, his whole facade and character has been rap cap. I could name 5 people that was on that Kofi list that he allegedly had. What happened to your Kofi list, Jim Jones? Nas was on your Kofi list, right? True Life was on your Kofi list. Mace was on your Kofi list. You did not slap none of them. No, all of their Kofis stayed intact. Not only did all of their Kofi stay intact, True Life took your chain. You put True Life on your Kofi list, he took your chain, popped your chain, Jim Jones. You can't put a nigga on your Kofi list and you get your chain popped. BX Mel says, does Jim have any hip hop quotables? Because Nas has several. That's a fact. Can we name a Jim Jones hip hop quotable? Can we go back to a particular verse, a particular line, a particular song and say, this is a hip hop quotable? This would have been in The Source as a hip hop quotable. This would have been in a hip hop magazine as a hip hop quotable. Other than ballin'. And let's talk about Ballin', you know, because that's the one hit that people gravitate to. That's the one song that people gravitate to. A lot of people say that Max B and Stack Bundles wrote that record. So if we're giving Jim Jones Ballin', and we have to put an asterisk. We put an asterisk next to that song because allegedly Max B and Stack Bundles wrote that Ballin' song. Salute to iMaster. Salute to iMaster. He says QB, you know. BX Mel says True Life ran them boys up and down Manhattan Island. That's a fact. That's a fact. They didn't want no problems with True Life. True Life, you know, allegedly he gave Cameron an eye jammy. He popped Jim Jones. He popped Jim Jones' chain. He was a problem. He was a problem for diplomats. BX Mel says in reality, a Ballin' Balls was kind of gas too. Come on now, those bars was it wasn't nothing. It was a party record, so I mean those bars wasn't like, you know, crazy. And I don't expect those bars to be crazy because it was a party record. But, you know, allegedly Stack Bundles and Max B wrote that record. Now, if we're giving Max B and Stack Bundles the credit on that song, then we have to put an asterisk next to that record because Jim Jones is running around here acting like he's this big bad New York rap giant when in reality nobody ever looked at him like this. Don't get me wrong. Jim Jones had a hot summer. I think Jim Jones had a hot summer back in 2006, Ballin' and all of that. He had a hot summer. He was hot back then. And I'm not going to, you know what else I'm not going to take away from him? I'm not going to take away his influence on fashion. I think he has had an influence on fashion. But when it comes to hip hop, this is a hip hop discussion. This is not about who dresses better. This is not about who got the most BB Simon glitter belts. This is not about who has the most True Religion jeans, who wore chrome hearts first. This is about pen to paper, bars, bodies of work, albums, singles, records, songs. Jim Jones does not compare to Nasir Jones. He does not. Let's get back to this young man. He's talking about Nas and Jim Jones.
We did not grow up on one mic. Pop champagne.
This nigga said pop champagne. That's not a Jim Jones record. That's a DJ Webstar record. And it is everybody that lived. And this is the problem with young people when they talk about hip hop. I have to talk about this. This is the problem with young people when it comes to hip hop. They think that just because they don't know, they wasn't around, they wasn't alive, they wasn't born yet, that their hip hop opinions matter. You are still wet behind the ears. You don't even know much about the culture. But you're telling us who was hot. You wasn't around. Jim Jones has been rapping before Ballin'. Jim Jones had records out in 03, 04. Ballin' was 2006. You wasn't even born then. I am sick and tired of young people thinking they deserve to have a hip hop discussion opinion. You don't. You don't know anything. You don't know better. You don't know the historicity of hip hop. Nobody in 2001, 2002, 2003, 4, 5 looked at Jim Jones as that nigga. Jim Jones didn't start bubbling until he quarterballing. Nobody looked at him as that nigga. Nobody looked at him as a hot lyricist. Don't get me wrong. Certified Gangster. You know, he had a couple records. But was anybody looking at him as he was one of the best? Was anybody looking at him as he one of the best rappers out of New York? Best lyrical minds. And keep in mind, Jim Jones just learned how to rap. Jim Jones just learned how to rap maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Nas been that nigga since 91. What are we talking about? People been looking at Nas as hip-hop's golden child since 91. Live at the Barbecue. This is before the album. This is before Illmatic. People was looking at Nas as he came out the gate as a premier MC. A top 5 MC in New York. He came out the gate like that. Jim Jones, nobody was looking at Jim Jones as a lyrical threat, a lyrical problem. Jim Jones was a hype man back then. And that's the problem with a lot of these young people. They think that just because they don't know better, that their opinions matter. Jim Jones had an era. We can give him that. He had a hot summer. I'll give him that. But stop acting like even if we go back to 2006, right? If we go back to 2006, you know what it's going to look like? Who was the hottest rappers in 2006? I can tell you. Because when 2006 was popping, I was older than this man. I was 17 in 2006. This little nigga was 2 years old. He wasn't even outside. He was 2 or 3 years old. He wasn't outside. He didn't have a car. He didn't have a girlfriend. He didn't have a group of friends that he could hang out with. He wasn't smoking weed. He wasn't drinking. He wasn't partying. He wasn't outside. But he's telling us we grew up on balling. You was 3 years old, my man. You was still wet behind the ears. Your mom was still holding your little ding ding when you was peeing. In 2006, Jim Jones was not the hottest rapper in 2006. The hottest rapper in 2006 was who? Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was the hottest rapper in 2006. Right? Kanye West was still hot in 2006. Young Jeezy was hot in 2006. Right? These are the people that mattered in 2006. And I'm gonna say another person. Joel Santana was hotter at one point than Jim Jones. It wasn't until, to be honest with you, until Jim Jones caught balling when he started even competing with the other Diplomat members. It wasn't until Ballin', because Certified Gangster was a cool record, but it didn't move the needle. It wasn't like a hit record. It wasn't until Ballin', until Jim Jones started to be on equal level with the other Diplomat members, with Cam and Joel's, right? So a lot of these young people, just because, you know, they were young and they remember Ballin', they like, you wasn't outside. This young man was not outside. In 2006, I was outside. I was running around. I was finger popping chicks, right? I was going to parties, staying out late, drinking. I was a young man in 2006. I know what it was. I was going to parties. This little nigga was probably 5, 6 years old. But he's telling us, oh, Jim Jones was popping. Well, nigga, Jim Jones ain't been popping since 2006. Yeah, BX Mel says it definitely was Lil Wayne. Yeah, 2006 was heavy Lil Wayne. Heavy Lil Wayne. Heavy. Heavy Lil Wayne. 2006 was Lil Wayne. 2006, Kanye was still popping. Young Jeezy, Joel's was still popping. Yeah, man. Listen, those were the guys back then. You know, Jim Jones, even in that era when he did catch ballin', he only had that record. He only had that record. He only had Ballin'. He said Pop Champagne. Pop Champagne is not a hit record. It's not a Ballin'. It wasn't, you know, it didn't get, you know, it really didn't make, it didn't really make it outside the tri-state, to be honest with you. Ballin' made it outside the tri-state. Pop Champagne didn't make it out the tri-state. And that's a DJ Webstar record. That's not a Jim Jones record. Let's continue though.
Summer in Miami. That's a classic.
Summer in Miami is not a classic. It's a cool record. Ballin' is a classic, and Ballin' is a hit record. I'm gonna give you that. Summer in Miami is not a classic. It's a good record. It's a good record. If it came on right now, I'd listen to it. I like it. But a classic record? No, it's not a classic record. A classic record is New York State of Mind. A classic record is Nas Made You Look. A classic record is Jay-Z, Where I'm From. A classic record is Dipset Anthem. Summer in Miami, it's a cool record. If it came on, niggas would be like, oh yeah, I like this record. This was a good record. It's not a classic. It's not a hip-hop classic. We're not going to put Summer in Miami in the same discussion as Gin and Juice. We're not going to put Summer in Miami in the same discussion as OPP. We're not going to put Summer in Miami in the same discussion as New York State of Mind. We're not going to put Summer in Miami in the same discussion as Jay-Z PSA. It's not a hip-hop classic. It's a cool record. It's a cool record. It's a cool record. And again, I said, I like that record. I like Summer in Miami. I think that record is a cool record. But it's not a hip-hop classic. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. And these young dudes, they wasn't even outside. This man is like 23 years old. In 2006, you wasn't even in high school. Like, what are these young niggas talking about? I see Jadero's in the building. I want to hear Jadero's opinion on this. Jadero says, I wasn't calling it a classic. I was saying he had two that year. Now, who you talking about? Yeah, you know, back in that era, Jadero went to high school with me. You know, back in that era, like, we wasn't looking at Jim Jones like that. Was Jim Jones hot? Did Jim Jones have records? Absolutely. He was one of the hottest niggas at that time. I'm talking about when Ballin' came out and all of that. He was definitely hot at that point in time. He was definitely a hot rapper at that time. But we never looked at Jim Jones on the same realm as a Lil Wayne. He was never on that plane. He was never in that realm of a Lil Wayne. I'm only comparing Jim Jones at his peak to rappers at that time, right? We were never comparing Jim Jones to a Lil Wayne. We were never comparing him to a Jay-Z. We were never comparing him to even a Jeezy, because Jeezy was way hotter than Jim Jones ever been. We were never comparing them. Jadero says Jim Jones was a good talker on the beat. Yeah, he did. He talked a good one on the beat. But nobody ever looked at him as a lyricist. Nobody ever looked at him as, looking for him to kick a hot 16. And don't get me wrong, he has some good records even back then. Certified Gangster, that's a good record. Summer in Miami, good record. Harlem, good record. Ballin', good record. Weatherman, he had good records, but nobody looked at him as this lyrical miracle. He's the best rapper in New York. Nobody ever looked at that Negro like that. Salute to Sinclair. I see Sinclair's in the building. Nobody ever looked at Jim Jones like that. Niggas looked at Jim Jones. He had the struggle braids, looked like he just combed his head. He used to wear the rock star shirts and the rock star jeans. And he was the Koofy slapper, but nobody looked at him as this lyrical miracle. Like nobody ever put him on that same pedestal as a Jay, a Nas, a Lil Wayne. So I don't understand this whole narrative and the young people that are going with this narrative. I don't really understand it because when they were young, Jim Jones was not popping. Jim Jones wasn't. You got to remember, these kids are 23. These are not kids that are like 17. They're 23. So that means in 2006, if you're 23 in 2006, you were still 5 or 6 years old. How are you telling us in 2025 what was hot in 2006 when you was 5 years old? You wasn't at none of the parties, none of the functions. You wasn't hanging out late. You wasn't in Harlem late night. You wasn't at none of the Rucker games, Dykeman games. You couldn't go to the clubs. You couldn't go to the parties. You wasn't finger popping chicks. How are you telling us what was hot in 2006? You was 5. The young man that was saying all these things, he's a young man. I don't understand how he's telling us what was hot. That's a fact, though. That's a fact. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Jadero says Wayne was GOAT then. That's a fact. Wayne was GOAT then. Jadero says they going based off his recent projects when he finally started to rap. Well, listen, man. Jim Jones' recent projects don't match up to Nas's recent projects. Nas's recent projects are getting critically acclaimed. He won a damn Grammy. Has Jim Jones even been Grammy nominated? And let's be honest, Jim Jones in 2023, 2024, and 5, nobody's checking for him outside of the tri-state. In 2006, Jim Jones was hot. He had a hot record. He was everywhere. He had the rock star look. He was popping. In 2025, 2024, people outside of the tri-state, they're not looking for no Jim Jones. They're not checking for no Jim Jones. Do you think people in Atlanta give a F about Jim Jones? People in Florida, California, Texas, Chattanooga, they don't give a squirrel fart about Jim Jones. He ain't hot outside of the tri-state. Yeah, they don't. They don't give a squirrel fart about that man. They don't care about that dude. So even though you got young people that probably like his music now, I mean, this is not his peak. This might be his peak in terms of his lyrical ability. This is his peak in terms of his rapping ability. But in terms of his peak popularity, people not checking for him like that. Nobody's checking for Jimmy Jones. Let's continue.
Rule the world. How's that comparable to those songs you just said?
I'm 22. Every Nas song.
He's 22 years old, but he's telling us what was hot in 2006. Bro, hold on. Let me see something. Hold on. Let me see something. Because if you're 22, let me do some. Let me get my calculator. Let me do some calculating. Let me do some calculations real quick. Because I want to see something. Because if you're 22 in 2025, let's take away, because something's not adding up to me. So you're 22. Dog, you was born in 2003. This kid is 22 years old. He was born in 2003. Jim Jones was popping in 2006. My man, you was 3 or 4 years old when Jim Jones was in his peak. What are you talking about? Hold on. Let me see how old he was when he was 18. Hold on. When he was 18. How old was he when he was 18? So he was 18 in 2021. Dog, what are we talking about here? That means during the early 2020s and in the 2010s, he was pretty much a teenager. Jim Jones wasn't popping in the 2010s. Jim Jones was on Love and Hip Hop with Chrissy. Jim Jones wasn't no premier rapper in the 2010s, early 2020s. So what is he talking about? Listen, we give Jim Jones his props with the fashion. I'm gonna give him his props. Jim Jones deserves his props when it comes to fashion, when it comes to the rock star look, the True Religion jeans. A lot of people want to give Chief Keef props for the True Religions. Jim Jones did it first. A lot of people want to give, a lot of rappers credit for the Chrome Hearts. Jim Jones did it first. A lot of people want to give a lot of people want to give Cardi credit for the rock star look, and Lil Uzi credit for the rock star look. Jim Jones did it first. We give you your credit in terms of fashion. We give you your credit. We give you your credit for balling. It was a big record. You had a couple cool records. But Jim Jones, you do not compare to Nas. You are a footnote in the historicity of hip hop. And the main problem is, hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Jadero says 18 in the pandemic listening to Jim Jones is crazy to have a hot take like that. I agree. BX Mel says these little niggas just want baby food rap that they could understand easily. I get it. We like breaking down bars and metaphors. So I see the generational divide. Yeah, listen, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Jim Jones was not popping in the 2010s. Let's just be real. This young man was a teenager in the 2010s. In the 2010s, that's Drake, that's Kendrick, that's Nicki Minaj. That's a little bit of Wayne. Lil Wayne bleeds into that era. That's still Kanye. That's Future. That's Young Thug. That's Gucci. A little Gucci early 2010s. That is not no Jim Jones. Jim Jones was not a hot rapper in 2010s. I just have a problem when young people. The problem with young people talking about hip hop is that they don't know what they're talking about. They weren't outside. Like I was too young, right? Let's talk about it. I was too young, right, to understand the influence of Pac, right? I was born in '89. Pac died when I was in in what was I in elementary school? So I was too young. But when I got older, I realized how influential Pac was, how great Pac was, the imprint he left on hip hop. What a lot of these young people do is they weren't outside. They don't know better, and they're not even willing to do the Googles. They're not even willing to look and do the historicity and look into what happened before they were born. Jadero says Ross was an honorable mention in 2010. Yeah, he was. He was definitely popping in 2010s. Definitely. I'm gonna give Ross I'm gonna give him late 2000s to 2010s. Yeah, 2010. He started to fizzle out in the 2010s, like late 2010s, not early 2010s, but late 2010. He started to fizzle out. But yeah, I definitely give Ross early 2010s, like 20. I think Teflon Don came out in 2010. And God Forgives I Don't. In the mixtape. So he was definitely popping in 2010s. Sinclair says the bellhop. You're talking about the bellhop Negro. You're talking about, yeah. But in terms of Jim Jones, man, it's laughable. Let me finish on what this young man was saying though.
That my man's MJ played. We said we heard that from what, Dub?
2K.
2K. Those songs are in the video game. Okay. I have never in my life said at a party, yo, throwing that Nas right now.
So you've been at a party and you told somebody to throw on a Jim Jones record? See, this young man don't know better. When I was coming up, nigga, we couldn't wait to hear Uchi Wally. Are you kidding me? When I was coming up in the early 2000s, nigga, we couldn't wait to hear Uchi Wally at a house party.
You don't find that suspicious?
I'm just saying, we couldn't wait to hear Uchi Wally at a house party back in the day. We couldn't wait to hear "Oh You Back" at a house party. So it's more so, but my whole thing is this. When he was going to parties, when he was going to remember, he was born in 2003. So when you were going to parties, that whole balling phase, that balling phase fizzled out. Did they throw it on every now and then? Yeah, at the New York, New Jersey parties, absolutely. They probably threw it on every now and then at the parties. But let's be real, like that whole balling phase had went out by then. We're talking about early 2010s. That whole phase fizzled out. And by that time, that whole 2010 era, Nas was beyond the Uchi Wally phase. He wasn't chasing the Uchi Wally sound. He wasn't chasing the "Oh You Owe Me Back" sound. He wasn't chasing that anymore because his style had matured. The thing about Jim Jones, he's a grown man child. He's still dressing like he's 21. He's still acting like he's an active gang member. He hasn't matured. Nas has matured. Nas ain't rapping about being on the block and cutting up Philly blunts and being in the project hallways of QB. That's not what his life is no more. He don't live like that no more. He's rapping about brunch on Sundays, hanging around with LeBron, flying jets, investment portfolios. That's what his style has matured. So he wasn't chasing the Uchi Wally sound by the time you become a teenager. That's not Nas's fault. He's matured. You as a young man, I guess you gravitated to Jim Jones being a grown man child. Yeah. Nas had elevated his sound by then. He wasn't, Nas at that point in time in the 2010s, he was making more mature hip hop. He wasn't chasing that sound. He wasn't chasing to be, not the thing about Nas. Nas he has a timeless style. He's not trying to chase, the whatever's trendy or popping at the time. He has a timeless sound. It's not, trending. It's not viral. It's not that. It's timeless. It's something you could put on at any point in stage of your life. You could put on Nas when you're 20. You could put on Nas when you're 35. You could put on Nas when you're 50. He has a timeless aura and sound about him. Sinclair says, I usually don't take advice from boys who don't have facial hair. I have shoes older than this kid. That's a fact, Sinclair. That's a fact. Jadero says Jim says on Joe Button Pod that he's ageless. That's absolutely cap. He's a grown man child, and we know that Jim Jones is a grown man child. Because don't forget this clip. Hold on, let's play this clip. Let's play this clip. We're gonna go into the historicity of Mr. Jim Jones. Hold on, Jim Jones. Male Matrix. Let's get into Jim Jones and Male Matrix. The super violating clip here. Jim Jones is a grown ass man child. Hold on. I think I have this clip on my page. Yeah, here we go. This is my page. Here we go. Let's play one of my clips. He definitely got to get super violated. Hold on.
He definitely humiliating Shotty right now.
Well, we got your picture up there next to the.
Let's play this.
Like, when you go to YouTube and World Star, they got his.
Jim Jones is a grown ass man child. Still throwing up blood. Still throwing up like come on, Jim. At this point, Jim Jones was well into his 40s. Still throwing it up. And this is why Cameron clowned him, because this man refuses to grow up. He refuses to put the red flag down and say, you know what, let me invest in a stock portfolio. Let me invest in some investments. Let me put down this Treyway stuff and let me not catch a RICO indictment. BX Mel says super violating sounds like gel grape, in my opinion. Yeah, it did sound crazy. But he refuses to grow up. He's a grown ass man child. At this particular point in time, Jim Jones, when he was around an artist like 69, he should have put his arms around him and help guide him. Help mold him into another hip hop superstar, and to keep him out of trouble. He pretty much led, and make no mistake. Hold on, make no mistake. I gotta say this, because a lot of people love to flip the narrative on 6ix9ine. Make no mistake about it. Did 6ix9ine rat? No, absolutely. 6ix9ine ratted. 6ix9ine is a rat. But make no mistake about it. Jim Jones and Treyway, they brought a rat around 6ix9ine first. A man by the name of CEO Chris. They brought the rat around 6ix9ine first. CEO Chris is the one who had Mel Matrix phone tapped. CEO Chris is the one who had all these phone taps and was cooperating with the government. That was Jim Jones' friend. So essentially, 9 Trey and Jim Jones, they brought a rat around 6ix9ine first, which caused 6ix9ine to rat. It was not the other way around. 6ix9ine, he got into a room with all those federal authorities. They played him video recordings. They played him CEO Chris's testimonial and all of the evidence that was weighed against him, and he decided to cooperate. That's what happened. It wasn't that 6ix9ine got into a room and he just caved, and at the first drop of the dime, he saw the evidence in front of him. Because I'm going to be honest with you, it would have made more sense for him to not rat. To be honest with you, I think the case on him was pretty weak. It would have made more sense for him not to rat, but he had all of this overwhelming evidence against him in terms of CEO Chris and all this stuff. So he said, I'm gonna go ahead and take the deal. But make no mistake, because people don't want to talk about it. People love, when they talk about the Treyway 6ix9ine situation, they love to make 6ix9ine the scapegoat. They love to make 6ix9ine the big rat. It's all his fault. No, that is not what happened. Jim Jones and Treyway, they brought a rat around 6ix9ine. They brought a rat around him. That rat had so much information that they gave to the feds. They picked up 6ix9ine and they told him, listen, we have this bugged, we have this wiretap. Jim Jones is talking about violating you. Shotty, he's been screwing your girl, and he decided to cooperate. So always remember that, because people don't want to tell that part of the story. They don't want to tell that part of the story. They don't want to tell how 9 Trey had a rat in their ranks for 5, 6, 7 years. They don't want to talk about that. They want to make 6ix9ine the scapegoat, but in reality, they brought a rat around him. So that's a fact. Sinclair says, Sinclair says Jim Jones Senior Tour at your local busted skating rink with rental skates that gives you athlete's foot. Yeah, man. Listen, man. He's up there. Jim Jones is definitely up there. He could definitely get a senior citizens discount at the movie theaters. He's up there. He could definitely get a senior citizens discount. He could definitely pay half for a movie. I would think so. Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's get back into this clip.
Picture next to this shit. Everything he say, they got a split screen with shotty picture next to the shit. Shit, this shit crazy, son.
Listen.
But he's doing that to make K9 think he don't got no relationship with boy. That's what he's trying to do.
Oh, hold on.
That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to live. He's trying to separate himself.
That's cool, but now you gotta get violated.
You don't find that suspicious?
Now you gotta get Jim Jones. This man, now don't get me wrong, he is a rat, but this man is the same. This young boy was the same age as your son. And we have to ask the question. Let's say 6ix9ine was a little bit younger. Let's say 6ix9ine was 18, 17 years old. Let's say he was 16, 17 years old. And he had all this fame and all this, things put upon him. The RICO indictment, right? And he felt that it was so much on him as a young man, right? Let's make 6ix9ine a tad bit younger. And all of that was weighing on his shoulders. Jim Jones, are you telling us that you would have got a young 17, a young 18-year-old young boy super violated because he decided the streets wasn't for him no more? We have to ask that question. Because 6ix9ine was what, 23 at the time, 22 at the time? He was still a young man. So I have to ask the question, because you were on the phone with Melly. You talked about super violating him. You talked about, allegedly offing him. If 6ix9ine was 17 and he was 18, and let's say he did exactly what he did, are you telling us, Jim Jones, that you would have done that to a young man at that age? This is the problem with the streets. You got grown ass men, 40-year-old men, playing with the lives of young men, young boys. Jadero says nothing to lie. That's a good point. Jim Jones doesn't go on tour. If he went on tour, that would put that Nas comparison to bed. Does Jim Jones go on tour? I don't know if he goes on tour, but my whole thing is this: who's really checking? Like, let's really compare it, right? Can Jim Jones sell out Madison Square Garden? Nas has sold out Madison Square Garden. You got to remember, because all of the stuff that Jim Jones is saying, he's talking about today. He's talking about now, right? So let's not go to 2006, right? Let's not go to 2006, Jim Jones prime. Let's not go to, I say Nas's prime. Some people would say 94. I would say maybe 96 or 2001. Let's go 2001. Let's not go to 2001. Let's not go to 2006, right? Let's go now. Nas has sold out Madison Square Garden now, recently. Can Jim Jones sell out Madison Square Garden? I don't even think Jim Jones can sell out the Apollo. Talk to Black to me. I don't think Jim Jones can sell out the Sunrise Cinemax. I don't think he can sell out the iPic Theater, an IMAX, a Regal. Yeah, Nas has sold out. I could show you the clip. Nas selling out Madison Square Garden. Nas sold out Madison Square Garden. Let me play that clip. Nas sold out MSG. Nas sold out MSG. Yeah, look, Nas hits the stage. Nas hits the stage at his sold out concert at MSG and dropping amazing freestyle. This was 2 years ago. This was because Jim Jones is talking all this relevant. Jim Jones, are you relevant enough to sell out Madison Square Garden? Are you relevant enough? Let's play this.
Dream big, work hard, and switch to progressive.
Because all I'm hearing from Jim Jones, he not popping to the youth now. He's not popping to the youth now. Jim Jones, will the youth sell out Madison Square Garden to come see you? Because I already know the answer to that. Nigga, ain't no young people coming into no young people going to the Garden to go see you. They'll go to the Garden to see A Boogie. They'll go to the Garden to see Little TJ. They'll go to the Garden to see Jay-Z. They'll go to the Garden to see Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Jim Jones. People ain't going to the Garden to see you. Remember, this was 2 years ago. Nas sold out the Garden 2 years ago. Jim Jones, can you sell out the Garden? Look at this. Nas sells out the Garden. MSG. Take a look at this right here. Let's get into this.
What's up YouTube, it's Hip-Hop Channel YTV and I'm back with another episode. Today we have a topic about legendary New York rapper Nasir Jones. Last night Nasir Jones had dope live performance in New York State of Mind at Madison Square Garden. Legend finally playing New York City's Madison Square Garden for the first time. And this amazing show celebrates
2 years ago.
Nas King's Deceased trilogy. Nasir last night performed his hit songs If I Ruled the World, New York State of Mind, and more.
Jim Jones, I want to see you do this because you're talking all this relevancy. You're talking that you're popping to the youth. You're telling us that you're making Nas viral. Can you sell out the Garden? I want to see you sell out that Garden. I want to see you sell out that Garden. And wasn't he just on stage? And Funk Master Flex had to tell that garbage ass nigga to turn your records off. We don't want to hear this no more. Hold on. Let me play that clip. Oh. Did y'all see that? Funk Master Flex told that old ass nigga. Hold on. Let's play that. Funk Master Flex told that old ass nigga, we don't want to hear these garbage ass old records no more, Jim Jones. Get off the stage. Funk Master Flex had to tell that nigga. Funk Master Flex had to put his arm around that nigga. Jim Jones, Ballin' came out 20 years ago. We need a new hit, Jim Jones. This is not a timeless record. We need a new Funk Master Flex had to put his arm around that nigga. Let me play that record. Let me play that. Hold on. Let me play that. BX Mel says Jim is not a special artist. I hope this is a real wake-up call for him. I hope it is. Me too. I hope it's a wake-up call for him as well. Look, Funk Master Flex had to put his arm around him because you know, allegedly from what I'm hearing, Jim Jones, he wanted to go longer. He wanted to be on. I guess he had more records he wanted to go through, and Funk Master Flex said, "Hey man, we gotta make room for Ice Spice. Ice Spice is coming out though. You gotta get off the stage, my nigga." Hey, listen, Jim. Funk Master Flex said, "Hey, listen, Jim. Listen, I remember Ballin'. That was a cool record, but it's about Ice Spice in 2025." Hey, Jim Jones, we need you to we gotta make room for Glorilla. We gotta make room for Sexy Red. Yeah, tell that nigga to get off the stage. Yo, get off the stage, bro. We don't want to hear these old ass records. The niggas ain't vibing. The two, you know, come on, bro. But he nigga was tight. Nigga was angry like Jim Jones. Nobody want to hear that. Nobody brought a ticket to Summer Jam to hear Ballin'. I really feel that in my heart of hearts. I'm sure people was happy to see you. I'm sure people when Ballin' came on, they did the gesture. They said Ballin'. I'm sure people had fun when the record came on. I'm sure people was like, "Oh, I remember this record. Yeah, I like this record." I'm sure when those records came on, and I saw you played the Diplomat records, even though you're beefing with Kim, you played the Diplomat records. But I'm sure people were happy to see you. But let's keep it a buck, Jim Jones. Let's keep it a buck. Nobody in that building brought a ticket to see Jim Jones. That's a fact. Nobody walked into that building to see. I can't wait to see Jim Jones. I gotta see Jim Jones. I've been wanting to see Jim Jones live. In my heart of hearts, I don't think anyone brought a ticket to see you. So what are you mad about? You should have been happy to be on stage. You should have been happy to show people that you can still do it. Maybe maybe if you had enough time, play a new record, get people engaged on what you're doing today. But Jim Jones, nobody's trying to see you. It's about the Sexy Reds. It's about the Glorrillas. It's about the NBA Young Boys, the Kendrick Lamars, the Drakes. Nobody, you're a relic from the past, Jim Jones, and you're not timeless. You could be a relic from the past, but, you know, listen, you're just a relic from the past. Some people are timeless, right? Like, and a lot of people from the past, they're not making their best music. Like Ice Cube. Ice Cube is a hip hop legend. Ice Cube is timeless, but he's not making the best music today. But he's timeless, so it doesn't matter. He still got those timeless records. right? And Snoop Dogg is the same. Snoop Dogg is another one. You know, Snoop Dogg isn't making the best record, the best music today, but he's timeless. Jim Jones, you're not timeless. You're just a relic from the past. You're a relic from the past. You know, you are really a relic from the past. You're not popping on what's today. You're not, you know, a lot of people that came into that building, into the Summer Jam building, they wanted to see. Let me look at that bill. Actually, let me take a look at that bill. Let me see who was on that bill. Summer Jam, 2025, right? Who was on that bill? Let me see if I can find that bill. Summer Jam. Hold on. I just want to see who's on that bill. Who was on this bill? I just want to see who was on here. Oh, they had look. They had A Boogie. They had A Boogie, Gunna, Glorilla. Look at they the headliners. Moni Long, Ja Rule and Friends. I would rather see Ja Rule and Friends than Jim Jones. Cash Cobain. Yeah, all of these people. I'd rather see all of these people other than Jim Jones. I'd rather see a Gunner set than see a Jim Jones set today in 2025. I'd rather see a Gunner set. I'd rather see a Boogie set. I'd rather see a Glorilla set. I love Glorilla. I'd rather see a Cash Cobain set. Nobody came and nobody brought a ticket, and you could tell nobody brought a ticket to come see him. You see he's at the bottom of the bill. He's at the footnote of the bill. Hey, Jim Jones, when Nas does a concert, his name is up here. He's at the top of the bill. He's not here at the footnote. And I'm gonna keep. They kind of disrespected Jim Jones. They kind of disrespected him. Jim Jones been in the game for over 15 years. He should at least be in the middle. Like the bottom is for the newer artists. The bottom is for the artists just getting started. You know, of course you put the bigger stars. You're always gonna put the bigger stars at the top, and it did right. But you don't disrespect Jim Jones by put him at the bottom. That's like for the openers. So Summer Jam kind of violated him. Hot 97 kind of violated him by putting him at the bottom like that. That was kind of violation, to be honest with you. But yeah, man, you know, let me look at the poll. Give me 1 second. Yeah, majority 91% says Nas is better. 91%. As they should. But yeah, it is what it is, man. This is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. But in terms of this story, listen. Jim Jones, listen, he had a couple hot records. He had a big record with Ballin'. But Nas is a hip hop legend. Nas' name is in the rafters of hip hop. He's already Hall of Fame. Nas has nothing to prove. Not only to Jim Jones, he has nothing to prove to hip hop. His name is already in the rafters. He's already put up the critically acclaimed albums. He's already put up the platinum albums. He's already put up the Billboard entries. He's already put up the Hot 100 entries. He's already impacted the game with culture, influence. He's changed the game forever. And another thing that Jim Jones said that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Hold on. Another thing that he said that rubbed me the wrong way. He said that he was more impactful than Nas. That was another thing. Jim Jones thinks just because he got a couple zesty Negroes to wear some rock star belts and True Religion jeans that they could barely fit. He think that that's more impactful than what Nas has laid down in the game. Nas changed hip hop forever. Let's break down some of the ways he's changed hip hop. Let's break it down. Nas was the first rapper, the first rapper to get super producers and record on one album. Before Nas was to grab every hot producer and make an album, a rapper would sit down with one producer and make an album. That was what happened in hip hop back then. Nas was one of the first. He was a pioneer, and now we see hundreds of artists doing this today. He was a pioneer to make a super producer album, where you grabbed a bunch of producers that were super producers and make one album. That was unheard of back in the day. Nas changed the game in terms of putting your baby picture on your album. Nobody was doing that. We've seen the likes of Biggie do it. We've seen the likes of Lil Wayne do it, and countless other artists to replicate it. Kendrick Lamar did it. Drake did it. The man has impacted the game with lyricism, raising the bar, the quality of raps. How dare you, Jim Jones, even put your name in the same breath as Nasir Jones? You should be ashamed of yourself, Jim Jones. But with that being said, listen, guys, make sure you guys get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think of this story. Let me know what you guys think of this topic. Nas, Jim Jones. It's a laughable even a topic to discuss, but we discussed it. But salute to all the mods, salute to Jadero, salute to Sinclair, salute to BX Mel, salute to FBA Hustle, salute to everybody in the chat, and I will see you guys another video another time. We are out. You guys have a good